Hey, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve to you. And going to be knocking this out today with something different. I wanted to shake things up a little bit and go off on a cool example of working on panels. I normally lay out pages a little different. I have what I call the Kirby style, um, which is Jack's influence on that project process. Because what I like to do is I like to go in and uh, lay out all the thumbnails. I lay them all out, lay out all the thumbnails for the entire book, the whole book, boom. Then I go do a walkthrough edit and change and twist everything as I need to right then. Make those edits on the thumbnails. Then I go to the book, lay out all the pages at once, and have the whole book done. Then I go to the phase what I call crushing it, which is to go into the entire book and boom, just lay it all out because all the detail work's done. As you can see, this is the scale that I lay out at. Okay, I have an animated type of layout where I have a foreground, a middle ground, and a background, and sometimes a couple of layers in between. It can get up to 7 layers sometimes in some of the distance stuff, with the little B stuff off in the background kind of thing. But I just wanted to do one panel today to show what was going on. Hey, Rich, glad you popped on, man. I didn't know if you were going to make it or not. Just wanted to show you guys this because I keep getting asked about it all the time. And how I pencil so fast and whatnot. And the reason I can do so many books in a month's time is because of the fact that I have been stockpiling them using this exact method. This is, in fact, let's see, this is my 4th page of the day. And I mean, I've been in the chair a good 10 hours, off and on, other than standing up so I don't get blood clots and die. And my morning workout routine, thank God. But yeah, I mean, this is how long it takes me to do these things. I lay them all out at once, and it takes a couple hours to do so at this level. 20 pages is a lot. And then I just sketch it out real quick. And then I just go in and do the fine line work, and I don't have to mess with all that. Because then I get to go in and, do all the pretty stuff. So, but that's where it's at. People ask me about that all the time. And they ask me, what are you doing as far as the comic work? I'm putting some horn-rimmed glasses on this guy. He is a reporter for a story I'm doing. But anyway, I get asked to do these pages all the time, and I just won't do it. But today I just thought, being New Year, I would throw one out and let everybody see what's going on and behind the scenes and check it out, because I'm going to be doing a lot of this stuff this year to show, what the process is. And I love doing this stuff because page work is where the love for comics is for me. I'm also a writer, as you guys know, or may not know. I don't know. I am either scripting this stuff, a couple scripts a day, or I'm penciling, knocking out a book and prepping it. And that's just the way of it. So I just wanted to take a little bit, like I said, and I'm going to, show a more finished piece than I normally do with the sketch cards. It's a little finer line work, and I just go in and kind of knock it out. I've got a thicker cartoony style in my line anyway, so I like to go in and doctor this stuff up and make it stand out and whatnot. And just my method, man. I go in and I knock it out, and like I said, I'm doing 4 regular books a month now, and I have to slow back a little bit because I'm going to be doing Catman Evolution monthly now, and by doing that, I've got to kick it back a little bit to ease up on my workload. But I have a webcomic coming out too, so I'm kind of, chomping at the bit to get the stuff going. But anyway. But yeah, I just kind of draft this stuff in real quick, and then I go behind it and just pencil it out. And since I've started doing this technique, over this year, I've been doing this technique a lot more because it's gotten a lot faster and cleaned up my work. My work used to be very abstract and very cartoon-ish, and it was almost like a cartoon book type of deal. And even my better stuff is, a little flat in comparison to what I'm doing now. This is way better. I have a lot more of my influences involved, and my style design is a lot better. My composition's a lot better. And I'm able to do this all day long. And then a long time of doing this day in, day out, I've gotten really, really quick because I have to consult with my marketing business. So, you know, I still have to take care of clients and all my good stuff from my business. So it's just always something going on. And, you know, got to keep it hopping. Because, you know, I like to keep the bills paid and the lights on and all that. And don't want that to bite me in the butt. So, but, you know, I like to eat. So, so let's see. I'm going to pop in this right here, the edge of that shirt collar. Go over this way just a little bit. And there's the top of that tie. Come across. Boom. Now this stuff goes in really fast here because like I said, I don't spend a lot of time on this stuff because I can refine it because I'm inking this myself. Now, if I was going to be doing this for another artist, it would be a little bit different. I would have to refine it a little more and, you know, kind of clean it and keep the lines a little bit tighter. But because of the fact that it's my work, I don't have to really worry about that. So I get to have fun with it. But yeah, this is crazy, man. And this story here, what I'm doing with this book, this started out as a 12-page piece for Mike's what is it? The mega book, the anthology that's going around. He's doing Mega Book 5 right now, and I am always on board to do work for that book because Mike is always cool. Mike Rickaby. He just is a great guy to be around. If you know anybody in comics that wants to get a break in and do creator-owned stuff and not have to worry about the hassle of being ripped off or anything like that and mess with it, Mike is definitely a guy to know and work with. And if you need contact info on him, just let me know, and I'll you know, private message me and I'll send you that info and let you get hooked up with Mike, because the dude's phenomenal and he's very cool about the way he does stuff. It's all creator owned based, you know. If you work with him, you put your book in his anthology, it goes out for free. You get exposure to, like, I think it's 50,000 readers now that the dude has. It's just crazy stuff. And if you put your book in his anthology, you get credit and ownership and keep the rights and whatnot, and you can go off and put it into your own book and push it from there. So, putting in a little handkerchief there. Getting a little more to this chair line. Somebody told me when I showed them this earlier to poll which one I was going to do, whether I was going to do the Scarlet Spider card or not today, or if I was going to do this one, this panel. When I showed it around, it was funny. People were saying, "Is that Superman?" And one guy asked me if it was Beast or not. I found that amusing. Whenever I block this out, this will be solid and refined, you know, like I'm doing now. It's not. I just draw through the anatomy, and superhero anatomy is my specialty, so that's why he's a little bulky right now, but I will slim that down as I ink it. And a lot of people are going to be freaking out over this right here because it's like, you don't draw the framework, it's horrible. And like I said, I'm doing this like super quick here, but I mean, you can see this just popping out. No biggie. It's already laid out, and all the hard work's done. That's why I said it's part of the process to go in and crush it. So this is how I get to draw so quickly. I want to go over here first. I get asked all the time by editors, and I get spanked for this bad, because it's like, do you have a straight edge, man? Yes, I do. Why are you freeing it? It's crooked. Stop it. And I do it anyway. But no, if I get specifically asked for something high-tech and smooth for a client, I tend to stay away from this, and we'll do it more so. I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek at the page. These are a couple of this is actually from the script. Don't read that. But these are clients. This is this guy here in the sketch I did this morning. I just designed on the fly for the page and the agents coming out. And there we go. But what I was going to do was I was going to buff this so I didn't put my hand on it. But whatever. I like to buffer it with a clean sheet so that I have a good clean page. But whatever. You know what? I can grab give me just a second. I'm going to grab I'll grab my spot sheets here. That way I don't mess up the drawing. Don't mess up the drawing. And it was funny because this was supposed to be a 12-page script like I was talking about. But the funny thing is it ended up being 160 pages over and above the 12. So roughly 170, 180 pages right around there. It was crazy. It just came like a muse hit me over the head and said, here, publish this. And I was like, okay, cool. Whatever. But just to let you guys know on the storyline, the reason I'm showing this is because it's going to be, as long as I get it done today, it's going to be in the Mega Book 5, and then it's going to go on into a regular ongoing series. And the reason for that is because of the fact that this was a public domain piece based off of the film, the George Romero film, Night of the Living Dead. And I called it The Night of the Living Dead Relapse. And it is about Barbara Blair, the blonde woman from the movie. When she gets yanked out of the house, no one ever really knows what happens to her in that storyline. She gets out of the house, she gets drug out, and then everybody comes in, you know, all the zombies come busting in anyway into the house. And they never show if they ate her, killed her, what. Well, I wrote it as if she lived and put her in her 80s, which she would be today, because can you believe it? She was supposed to be 35 years old, that woman. I was like, no way. But yeah, she was supposed to be 35 years old. And I put her in the hospital as if she'd grown old, had a family, and moved on. And I wrote a series based on it. And I called it the Night of the Living Dead Relapse. I won't go into what happens with the storyline too much, other than the fact that Barbara did live, and it's going to be cool. Now, I'm not planning on competing against The Walking Dead or anything like that. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to go ahead and pencil this in anyway. But to show you guys the shading there, but I'll have to go in and erase it before I ink everything. It's like, use your marks, don't pencil it up. Rich, he'll be on here. He's an old school inker guy turned penciler, and with his experiences, he'll probably be freaking out on me. Man, you know better than that. I would never ink your work, slacker. But all joking aside, yeah, I just wanted to put it out there and show it as a cool story, you know. And like I said, it's not going to compete against The Walking Dead or anything crazy like that. I just wanted to have something cool, and I like horror. I like to do horror stuff and action adventure stuff. I was trying to say three things at once. Sound like George Bush all of a sudden, but it's a horror. No, she's on Star Trek. But anyway, I am in a cut up mood today. I've been hanging out with my daughter for New Year's Eve, so believe me, very cool times. But anyway, yeah, I love horror stuff. I love the old zipper suits, monster movies, and zombie stuff of any kind. I collect those old horror movies, you know, the Vincent Price type. You know, it doesn't matter how campy they are. I've got them all on some form of DVD or Blu-ray or whatever it may be. However, I've got a lot of them on digital as well because of the fact you can't find them elsewhere. But Romero's Night of the Living Dead was a huge influence on me. It was one of the first horror movies that I saw. I mean, the classic Universal stuff didn't scare me. I laughed at it. But Night of the Living Dead was a make-you-think thriller, and it would twist it up, you know, because that's something that with modern technology and, you know, the way we mess with biology and DNA and all that, it could actually happen. You know, The Walking Dead and Night of the Living Dead could definitely happen. And that would be creepy. But that's a technical term, mind you. But yeah, I don't normally get freaked out by stuff, but I love to make you think stuff. You know, when a thriller can make me think and get inside my head, you know, and start monkeying around in there, then, you know, stuff starts to come out and it's just like, hey, you concerned me. So that gives me great joy. I like to be open-minded in those type of situations and really get to where, you know, you can think about stuff like that. That's where I get excited and even scared sometimes, you know. I've had a couple of things really creep me out, you know. This this series of films, Insidious, I'm sure you guys have seen those. Those things are starting to get weird, you know, because that stuff can actually happen where you can get a state of psychosis and just freak yourself out. And it's more psychology than it is actually a horror film. But, you know, you start messing around with stuff and it'll mess with you. But you never know. I mean, I surely don't want anything supernatural to come up and say, hey, you know, I don't need that kind of verification. I really don't. I just don't. But I really, really wanted to do this piece because I wanted to do something with Romero a while back, and then and I got to talk with him about it, but then he wanted to completely get away from the zombie stuff. Right there at the end, he wanted to get away from the zombie stuff. He said because of the fact that it's all been done, and he wanted to do a couple other things, and that was it. And I was like, okay, cool. But he said, you know, it's public domain. If you want to go for it, go for it. So I did. And I've had this sitting back burner for about 2 years, and I haven't had time to get it. I had the concept about 2.5 years, and I haven't had a chance to get to it until now. And like I said, that I wrote it out, and it flew off the page, so good to go, good to go. And now that I look at him, he does look like Clark Kent. That's weird. Of course, I guess everybody has a look these days. And this is an iPhone, his hand right here, and you know, the rest of his arm over here and whatnot. And he's sitting in a chair in a hospital room talking to Barbara, which he doesn't know is Barbara yet. But like I said, I don't want to give out too many spoilers, so I won't do that. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of this. I'm going to firm up this set of glasses here. Pass this over to I would normally pass this over to my good friend and regular inker, Louis Alonso, but he is currently on another project, so we won't do that. But I'll be inking this one and knocking it out. And hey, there you go, cool deal. Instant eye lift. The shade from those glasses just popped right up. I'm going to go and cut in these shadows real quick, which I did not put in the layout because I try not to. I try not to do a bunch of heavy shadowing in the layout because then I end up getting a scratchy unfinished look with the board. And when I go to erase everything, it's when all this stuff starts to jack up. And that's a technical term too, by the way. Naturally, draw out the middle finger first. Yeah, geez, sorry about that. And now it's a British salute. Hey, just vulgarity all the way around. Great. I'll put in this sleeve here. Put in this jacket. Now, whenever I'm doing these pages, I know I'm not talking a lot. It's because I'm thinking about the details, what I want to do here, processing. But normally, it takes about, and I'm taking, like I said, I'm taking my time with this. But if I have all the entire page laid out here, it normally takes me about maybe 2.5 hours to do a page completely. And I mean, that's, you know, bumming around, and we're talking penciling, inking, and erasing, cleaning. Yeah. I mean, I know that's fast, but the thing is I'm not as detailed as some of the other guys out there. They tend to get, you know, really refined with the more realism they put in and all that, and I don't have to go in with all that mess. So I tend not to do that because I then overwork it, and then it doesn't look as good as it could have. I don't know if you guys have that problem or not as artists, if for the ones of you that are. But I have that problem all the time. Like I said, I'm just going to lightly color this in so you guys can see what I'm doing with the finished look of it. I'm going to go over here to the trusty 9. Give myself an edge here. If you saw what I did there, if you didn't, I don't know if you did or not, but if you at least heard me scribble on the sidelines, what I'm doing there is I filled in this brand new lead with an angled edge on it, so it doesn't cut in. Just buffer off your edge like that, because then what ends up happening is you get an angle to write with or draw with, and you don't have to worry about it gives you a broad side instead of a point to dig in, because if you go in with a flat brand new graphite lead, they'll tend to cut into the board until they flatten out. I just like to burn that off, and then you don't have to worry about it. So, and like I said, normally I wouldn't do this, but because I'm inking it and I know I'm going to erase this stuff anyway, I will go ahead and do that for you guys. Because normally I would blacken this out, and I wouldn't want that in the way, all that graphite. But because of the fact that we are doing a lesson here, very cool little tutorial, if I do say so myself. Now we got the shirt going on here, the collar right there, that's going to be the shirt underneath there. Put in a little bit of edge there, and try not to do too much of this iPhone with this blunt pencil here. Because that is a finer piece and I don't want to mess it up. Always do technology with really, really fine lines. Don't go in and, you know, color it like you're coloring with a crayon. And that's basically what this 9 is doing. So fill in these edges. It's suicide. Don't do it. It's comic death. If I wasn't doing this for my own book or for a piece that I owned, I would probably want to kill the artist for doing this, because it makes extra cleanup work for the inker, but I don't have to worry about it because, like I said, I'm the inker, so I get to go back in and, you know, clean that up. But anyway, and like I said, I know a lot of people are freaking out because of and I decided to make this black instead of black or blue instead of brown or open like I was going to. So I'm gonna go ahead and just knock this out. But yeah, it doesn't take long. I mean, like I said, you know, just an hour to anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours is pretty much tops for me, depending on what I'm doing. I mean, it takes about 2 hours to lay out the entire book in this rough stage, and then to finish it out in a fleshed comic book look or finished page type of setup, I tend to put in a little more work on it. Obviously, I mean that would be the good thing to do. Let me back up the camera just a little so it stops shaking it. Shaking the desk here. I told you guys I'm heavy-handed with these things, but anyway, there's that pocket right there, and I don't want to forget it. So great, cut into the collar. Nicely done. Anyway, let's see where we can get to with this real quick. I really dig this one because of the fact that I don't have to mess with, you know, this one being the pencil. I really dig this one because it's a broad tip and I don't have to worry about it. And I also have some other lead holders that hold bigger pieces. I've got 1.5, which is a standard 2-point number 2 pencil. I've got those, and I've got some big Ticonderoga type leads, which those things are nuts. And I don't tend to use those very often because those suckers are expensive. And I mean, it's just graphite. Come on, man. But yeah, it tends to get on up there a little bit. I don't want that sharp. I buy all kinds of tools to experiment with, but that those Ticonderoga type leads that for the lead holders, those things are expensive. And I mean, what do I mean by expensive? They're like $2 a piece for a pack of 2. It's just ridiculous. You know, I mean, I pay 99 cents for my leads in with 30 sticks of graphite in them all the time, and I buy them in bulk from Michael's or Hobby Lobby, or I order them direct, depending on if I can get them direct, if they're in supply. It just varies, but I prefer a specific brand. I use Pentel, and then I have another brand that I use, and I like those because they don't shed too much of the graphite as an ash after you're done, which happens a lot. Because whenever you go to ink this, if you don't erase this, this will come off, and your ink will dry into it and clump, and you won't see it until you go to erase it, and then all of a sudden, bammo, it'll be all over you. And you have to use like a kneaded gum eraser or something like that to pull that lead off first, to pull those crumbs off, because that's exactly what it is. It's a microscopic crumb or an ash speck. You know, it's like sand on there, and it's laying on top of the paper, and it's not cleaned off. And if you don't clean it, it will bite your art later. It'll bite your art later, because it'll take that wet smudge and just drive it all the way home right across your page. Been there, done that. Seen it happen way too many times. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Now, see, I'll go in and clean this up whenever I go in and ink it. Like I said, I'll go in with a kneaded gum eraser, which is very soft, and it sounds just like it is. I mean, and vice versa, it is like it sounds. It's exactly that. It's like a piece of chewing gum, and you go in and tap it down. I've got one over here. I won't waste time digging it out to show you guys, but you just dab it on there. It smashes out flat, and it dabs it on and pulls it off, and you take it in your hand and roll it around, ball it up again, and onto the next dab, and that's pretty much it. I've been using them for years, but my buddy, I stopped using them for a while, and then my buddy Rich got them. Let's see, Rich Marquez uses them, and then Jim O'Reilly is a huge fan of those things and got me using them and got me a good supplier. So he recommended a good referral and a good brand, so I started using them again that way. But for the longest time, I didn't use them. I just used these old Stedler. They're plastic erasers, and they don't tend to smudge like the soft Magic Rub or, you know, those types do. Those softer erasers tend to absorb and spread the love to the next page. So don't do that. But I like these plastic ones. You can find these in Staples, Hobby Lobby, places like that, and buy them in a pack. They come in like a pack of 3 or 5 or whatever, and they're a couple bucks, and they work really, really well for this stuff. Matter of fact, I'm going to use it right now because I'm going to get that off there because I don't like it going over the panel. There we go. Cool deal. Now, while I've got the 9 out, I'm going to make sure, first off, that I got everything. Okay, cool. I want to put in that shadow for that shirt and that collar right there. Now, I'm going to go in and detail this a little bit while I've got this heavy one out, because I want to put in the edge of this chair. Kind of putting in this little triangular mark that I'd use for stuff like this where fabrics and cushions dip. I tend to do that, and then I like to go on the side over here. Excuse my coughing there. My allergies kicked in on me. Okay, cool. Now, I want to put a little, I'm going to go back to the 5 here because I want to go back in and put just a little bit of a sway mark or a swoosh right there, as people call them. That works. Cool deal. All right. Now, I'm going to go work on this defibrillator a little more. No, it's not Squidward drunk. I'm not too much into the whole cross-hatching thing. But slick shading, I'm all right with once in a while. I'm going to draw in that monitor. Then I'm going to go back to his hands and finish that up. So, like that. I know that looks cool right there, but I bet you when I'm 70, I can't do that. My hand would be like, so I'm just saying. So, Happy New Year. Now, whenever you go into cutting shades like this, don't go right off the corner. Always go just in a little bit, like I did right off of it. That way you don't drown it out, because what'll end up happening is you'll go on the corner and it'll kill the dimensional effect. I see that happen all the time. I'm gonna get my page turned around here. Make sure we're still on camera. Cool deal. Drawing this arm real quick. Cool. I hate drawing on the outside of my borders because then I I make uneven lines, and I don't like that. I like to clean the borders up. That's why I didn't close that off. Okay. We got an outlet back there. I'm not even going to detail that in because I want it to stay abstract and small like that. Just to add a little more seam to that, and I'll leave that alone. Those monitors. See if I can get a little more of this iPhone in here without messing it up too bad. I should have brought on a straight edge real quick, but I didn't. That's all right. When I ink it, I'll pull it together with a straight edge. It's like, worst iPhone ever, man. It's okay. I'm all right with that. I really am. Just doing this side because of the way it's tipped just a little bit. I'm going to go right in here and put in this camera port. And no, it won't be exact because, you know, where we have the iPhone and whatnot, this is going to be like the Z phone for Zombie because of the fact that we can't use, you know, brand name things. They tend to frown on that, which I think is ridiculous because it's free advertising for them in the comic books, and it grounds it out into the real universe, you know, our reality. But whatever. You know, I'm not gonna cause grief over that. I pick my battles, and that's not where I'm putting troops. Just not gonna do it. So I'm hoping to finish this up here fairly quick, but I'm running a little long, so if I don't get it here in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll start to finish this up and get back to you guys on it. Put in that obscure pinky knuckle right there for that little finger. I'm gonna put it up under the phone like it's resting on the knuckles, as it were. These two fingers are holding on the side, and it's up underneath. You know how we all do, you know, the whole thing of holding them. Or maybe you don't, I don't know. But I like to do that because of the fact that it just gives it a little more depth and find it an interesting look to make sure that always find it funny to make sure that something like a knuckle or a hand or something like that is really really all over it as a prominent point of focus. It just makes things weird and gives a depth to it because you're trying to focus on this part of what's going up here, but this is the focus of the picture. Because if you look at it, you know, everything, all these little arrows point down towards the phone. You know, the rim shot in his glasses point down through his chin and top of the head. Boom, you got to look at the fingertips on the phone. And then, you know, the angle of this drives it towards the phone. All of this is tilted to where it goes towards the phone. And that's the focal point of the picture. And that cracks me up because it's like, why'd you make the hand the focal point? Well, because of the fact that it's different and it makes you pay attention to the details of what's going on in the picture. So think about that. The reason I did that is because of that reason right there. I wanted it to focus on something specific within the image and make you look around at it. That's part of what makes it so cool when these really cool compositions come off these pages and the artist just makes you think and you're going, wow, I don't know what it is, but I really love that image. And the reason you do is because of the fact that they've got a composition that goes to the target that wouldn't be what you want to look at, and then you're forcing your subconscious mind to respond in a way that makes you look at what you want to look at. So think about that one for a second. That's really deep stuff. And, you know, people don't think about that. But when you see these artists that'll go for like drawing a mouth, and you're like, what the, you know, and the reason for that is because of the fact that they want you to focus on what's being said. And, you know, if they focus on eyes, they want you to focus on the expression for the intent of whatever they're trying to get. And I love doing that with my artwork because of the fact that when it comes out, everybody's like, what the, you know, they always ask that question. What is he trying to do? And it may drive some people crazy. I don't know. I've heard that, you know, you can drive people off your artwork from doing that, but I've never seen it done, and it works for pretty much everybody in the industry that I know. As an influencer, it definitely works, and it'll make you think. But I like to do that because of the fact that it draws the eye no matter what. It always draws the eye to the target that I want. And it makes you have to look around to see what's going on because you're subconsciously overloaded. Because your subconscious mind, your eye wants to focus on the focus of what's the image. That's the whole point. And then your mind tries to figure out what's going on while you're consciously trying to absorb everything going on because that's the way it plays out. So think about it. Think about it. It's wild stuff. So put in the edge of that tongue there and leave those back teeth where you can see them, the ridge of the bottom teeth there. And because of this angle with him tipping his head down, we won't see the top teeth. They're covered just under the lip. So we'll leave that alone. Put in that rest of that ear layer because it's That's crucial. You need to hear. He needs to hear the story. Put in those teeth there. I tend to leave the teeth open and, you know, do the classic ridge line, but in this case I won't. I'll go ahead and put in, you know, a few of those details, that kind of stuff. But this is going to be outskirts in the windows here, and we're up on a high floor, so I need to grab this real quick, and I'm going to finish it by doing this right here, and then I'm going to detail that phone just a little bit. Let's see, right here. Okay. Put that off in the skyline like that. And then we'll put another one right about here. Put one of those wedge buildings, like right there. Looks like a chapstick to me for some reason. We'll put in some finer details. Yeah, that'll work. Cool deal. And then turn it so that I don't put my big hands all over it. Cool deal. I'm gonna leave that one open because of the fact that I don't want to fill it in. I just like the look of it being off in the background like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'll thicken that up just a little bit, make it look heavier. And now I'll put in, I'm not gonna put in clouds or anything crazy like that. What I'll do is I'll put in a little bird like right here. How do I want to do this? Yeah, let's go this way. Because you can never tell what they're doing, so I like to put in these little hook marks, make them go that way. Go ahead and scribble in a couple more of those. Cool deal. And just to make it look like it's behind it, we'll do that. I think that's going to be okay there. Maybe the edge of another lower building here. There we go. Now, what do I want to do here? I think I'll put in another edge over here. Like that. This side I don't want to go ahead and black that one out. Cool deal. Yeah, I think that'll work. Put in a little button. See, it's finite details like this that really start to make it come together. It's those weird little details. Okay, now I'll go down and do this iPhone real quick and then get out of your hair. Whenever you guys are doing this kind of stuff, knock it out at your own pace, of course. But like I said, I like to do multiple panels and multiple pages at one time. I wouldn't have done it any other way, unless except for the fact that I stopped on this one and it was the last page, which is kind of funny because pages 1 through 12 are sitting over here, but this was for page 3. And I just wanted to shake things up a little bit today. And it being the new year and all, I really wanted to make it interesting. So that's what we got. Put that hard plastic case on this so he can like hold it up and whatever. And then put the detailing right there for the shadow of the fingers underneath, like this. Go ahead and knock it out like that. Now I'm going to go right in here. I'm glad I pecked it right there. Pecked the page with the pencil. Not good. It didn't dent it though. If I'd have done that with a 9, it would have cut into it. But anyway, I'm going to do kind of a thing like that and make that pop up a little. And then when I ink those, they'll be a little bit finer. So, and as I put the light on that side, I've got to put it on this side as well. Okay, cool deal. So I think we got it. That's pretty much where we're going to call it right there. I'm going to put in a couple more details here on the back side of this wall. Just kind of fleshing stuff out a little bit. The reason I did this is because I'm going to put a shadow on the wall right there for the equipment. And I was going to do one back in here as well. There we go. Cool deal. All right. I think I'm going to leave that alone now because I don't want to overwork it. But I'm putting this on here because there's always grips on these things. And I forgot to add them on when I was laying it out. So I'm going to put in those details. There we go. Cool. All right. Now that's one panel. And, you know, like I said, I've been talking a lot and taking my time with it and pushing through very slowly here so I could show you guys how it works. But if I was doing this real time, I mean, I wouldn't be talking and I'd just be hammering it out, boom, 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 boom. And I would have left that open and gone on and inked it, you know, left all these blacks open and inked it. But I just want to give you guys a little bit of the detailing kind of thing and show out where that goes and whatnot. And I think it's a pretty good deal for what we got. I hope you guys dig it. And I'm going to go on and get out the rest of this because, like I said, I got to turn this thing in a day or two so that I can get it over to Mike and get it in the book. Hope you had fun and enjoyed it. And Happy New Year to everybody. Just in case I don't get to talk to you between now and then. And I'll see you tomorrow for another one. Talk to you later.